MMA Boxing Talk here, coming at you with another video. I just wanted to put out a video. Conor McGregor getting a lot of heat right now from Frankie Edgar, his team, his manager. Obviously, I was a few days back. I think that Frankie Edgar's manager put out that when the history books are written, Conor McGregor, it'll go down that he ducked Frankie Edgar, which it's a little absurd considering the circumstances that we're in. Conor McGregor rematching Nate Diaz at UFC 200, so obviously, right, you can't say that's a duck. He's not ducking Frankie Edgar. If Conor McGregor went down to 145 to defend his title and fought someone like Cub Swanson, or Ricardo Lamas or something like that, then that would be a duck. If he went down to 145, he'd be fighting either Edgar or Aldo in the rematch. So, and Aldo beat Frankie. So regardless, but that's just MMA math. But it's just bullshit. Of course, all the McGregor haters are jumping on this. Going with Conor McGregor is, he ducked Frankie Edgar. He's ducking Frankie Edgar and all this stuff. Like, give me a break. He's fighting Nate Diaz, and not only that, he just lost to Nate Diaz, and he wants to rematch him. The smart thing would be to fight at 155. McGregor wouldn't have that extra 15 pounds of muscle to carry around. He'd have more stamina, and obviously a better game plan too than the first fight, I would assume. But anyway, it's just funny, and not to mention, for the people that think he's ducking Frankie Edgar, well, he's not scared of a challenge because he just took a challenge against Nate Diaz, taking that on short notice, moving up to 170. It was short notice for Diaz as well, but it was short notice for McGregor to have to balloon up to 170. He couldn't even make it, which just proves he didn't have enough time. But now he'll have more time at 170 to train, but he wants to fight again the rematch at 170. On the same terms as the first one. So obviously he's not scared of a challenge. And he's most certainly not ducking Frankie Edgar. That's a joke. The people that think that, it's like, well, maybe he was fighting like an average 145er instead of Frankie or Aldo, then sure, that's a fucking duck. But when you're fighting Nate Diaz, anytime you lose to a guy and you rematch him right away, no one can say you're ducking anyone. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I just want to put out a video, talking about this heat McGregor's getting. It's not everyone, but of course some people are going to jump on this, but it's humorous. And not to mention UFC 200. The reason why it's going to be so good is because Conor McGregor is saving the day, saving the show. He's willing to fight Nate Diaz in a rematch, and that's the honest truth. That fight there is going to save UFC 200 because I'm sorry, but Cain Velasquez, Travis Brown, that can't be the main event. I love Robbie Lawler to death, and it would be probably the fight of the night anyway. But he's not a huge guy you can really sell for a main event, as much as I'm a huge fan of Robbie Lawler. But Conor McGregor, he doesn't have to take this fight right now, but he is. He wants to, avenge a loss. You have to give your hats off to him. It's tough to want to avenge a loss, after suffering such a devastating loss the way he went out. He wants a rematch right away. So, it's just ridiculous. Like I said, the people that think he's ducking Frankie Edgar, and I'm not saying, Frankie Edgar doesn't have a chance against McGregor or anything like that. That's the fight to make at 145. I was campaigning for that until they announced Diaz-McGregor rematch. Then, well, that's just the way it's going to be. He's got bigger fish to fry, basically. So, sorry to all you Frankie Edgar diehard fans. I'm a fan of Frankie Edgar. I think he's, the UFC version of Rocky. But, it's just bad circumstances. But anyway, he's gonna fight Nate Diaz in the rematch, but it's not 100% sure if it's gonna be at 170 or 155. Now, McGregor wants it at 170. Diaz wants it at 155. He doesn't want McGregor to have any excuses if he beats McGregor the second time, and that makes sense, right? Conor McGregor is a natural 155er. Like I said earlier in the video, he'd have 15 pounds less muscle to carry around if he fights at 155. But the thing is the UFC is just gonna keep throwing a little more money at Diaz, a little more money until he finally agrees to fight Conor McGregor at 170 again, and I'm guessing that's what's gonna happen, even though it should be at 155. But what are you gonna do? But yeah, I just wanted to put out a video calling out the bullshit, the unwanted heat Conor McGregor's getting, so-called ducking Frankie Edgar, little bullshit. So I'm gonna call it out. What the heck? I'll make a video calling out the bullshit. But yeah, if you like the video, subscribe. That's it for this one. MMA Boxing Talk. Peace.